All right, let's dive into the book of Joshua. This is a story about leadership, yeah, but also about some incredible faith. And it's about a promise that was 400 years in the making. And it all kicks off with this one simple but super powerful sentence.
Okay, so this is it. This is where it all starts. We're talking centuries before Joshua even comes on the scene. A promise is made to Abraham about a homeland. You gotta understand, this one sentence, it's like the engine driving this entire story. It's the hope that this nation has been clinging to for generations.
And that brings us to a major crisis. I mean, can you imagine, after all those centuries of waiting, they are right there, on the very edge of getting what was promised. But their legendary leader, Moses, he's gone, he's dead. And their path forward? It's blocked by enemies, by uncertainty. The big question is, how in the world are they going to succeed now?
So yeah, this is really the heart of the whole book, right? You've got this ancient divine promise on one side and a huge immediate problem on the other. Think about it, a whole nation of former slaves standing right at the border of a hostile land, and the one guy who got them this far, he's gone.
And this is where our new leader gets the call. God speaks directly to Joshua. And you got to pay attention to the exact words here. God doesn't say Moses my leader or Moses my general. He says, Moses, my servant. Now that might seem like a small thing, but that one word choice, it's absolutely crucial. It completely reframes the whole idea of what it means to be a leader in this story. So let's really dig into that idea, because it's one of the most powerful themes in the whole book. The way this story talks about leadership, it kind of flips everything we think we know on its head.
You know, on one hand, you've got the typical idea of a leader, right? Power, authority, someone who lords it over people. But the model we see here, it's the complete opposite. It's the inverse. Greatness isn't about being the boss. It's about being the servant. And that is the job Joshua's stepping into.
And look, this isn't just some vague philosophical idea. It is literally baked into the language of the text. Get this. In the King James Version of the Bible, the word leader shows up just 6 times. 6! But the word servant, almost 1,000 times, 982 to be exact. I mean, that's not a small difference, right? That tells you everything you need to know about where the priority is. It's a different kind of authority, one that's based on being faithful to something bigger than yourself, not just grabbing for power.
Okay, so how does a servant leader go about conquering a land? You think military strategy, right? Nope. It's with these radical acts of obedience and faith. Joshua's first big challenges aren't really about tactics at all. They're tests of trust.
So their first obstacle is the Jordan River. And it's not just a river, it's at flood stage. It's raging. And the command isn't build boats or find a bridge. No, Joshua tells the priests to take the Ark of the Covenant and walk straight into the churning water. And the moment their feet touch the river, bam, the waters just stop. They part, and the whole nation walks across on dry ground. Just incredible.
And the reason for this miracle is made super clear. This wasn't just about getting across a river. It was about showing everyone, publicly, that Joshua was the real deal. He was the successor to Moses. It was proof that the same power that was with Moses was now with Joshua. Okay, next up, the fortress of Jericho. This place is supposed to be impenetrable. And the battle plan they get? It has to be one of the weirdest in all of military history. I'm serious. No siege engines, no battering rams. The orders are just march around the city in silence for 6 days. Then on the 7th day, you march around 7 times, the priests blow their trumpets, and everybody shouts. That's it. It's a strategy that's clearly designed to make one thing totally obvious. This victory was not going to be because of the army.
But it wasn't all just one big string of miraculous victories. Not at all. The story pretty quickly shows us some serious setbacks. And there's a huge lesson here, that faith and obedience weren't just for the big, flashy moments. It had to be constant.
Right after this incredible, stunning victory at Jericho, the army goes up against this tiny town called Ai, and they get crushed, humiliated. And why? Well, it turns out one man, a guy named Achan, had secretly disobeyed a direct command. His story becomes this really powerful lesson that in this kind of community, the actions of just one person could have absolutely devastating consequences for everybody.
And it happens again. Soon after, the leaders get tricked, this time by a group of locals, the Gibeonites, who fool them into making a treaty they shouldn't have. And the reason for the screw-up is stated so bluntly.
They made a decision based on what they saw, but they did not ask counsel of the Lord. It's another failure to rely on that guidance, and another costly mistake.
All right, so let's fast forward to the end of the story. Years have passed, there's been a lot of fighting, but the land is mostly conquered and it's been divided up among the tribes. That promise, the one made to Abraham all those centuries ago, it's been fulfilled. And now we have an old Joshua gathering everyone for one last speech.
And to really get what he's about to say, it helps to kind of zoom out and see the big picture. Look at this timeline. Joshua is this absolutely pivotal figure, right? He's like a bridge connecting centuries of history. He's the one who finally takes that ancient promise to Abraham and makes it a physical reality. He sets the stage for everything that comes next. He's the leader who finally brought them home. So what's his final, most important piece of advice? What does he leave them with? Well, it's almost the exact same thing God told him way back at the beginning. He tells them, look, your survival from here on out, it doesn't depend on your army or your political deals. It depends on one thing, having the courage to stick to the law you were given.
And you know what? For a while, it works. It really does. The generation that actually saw the Jordan River part, the ones who were there when the walls of Jericho fell, they stayed faithful. Their faith was real because it was rooted in what they had seen with their own eyes, following the servant leader who got them there.
But the book ends with this really haunting question. I mean, if faith is built on what you've personally experienced, what happens when that generation, the one that saw all the miracles, is gone? What happens when a new generation comes along that has only heard the stories but never actually lived them? Well, that's a question and a story for another time.